R18 Narbril, battle in the graveyard. I jumped over the wall and landed in the middle of a huge army of undead. I created a barrier on the wall to keep the monsters away and trap the undead inside, then flew to the main area where the ritual was being held. The first to greet us were Kajiat and his team of necromancers. I signaled Nabe with my eyes to attack, and without wasting any time to speak, Nabe attacked with the electrosphere spell and fried the mage group. Kajiat barely managed to defend himself with magic. I used godly acceleration, which I created by enhancing the martial art Gale acceleration, to cut Kajiat's left hand and take Orb of Death. He immediately stopped the bleeding with light heal and shouted towards the building behind him. Ag. You bastard. Give me back my orb. Clementine, get your ass over here and help me. Era. What happened, Kajiat? You don't look so good. And you there, how did you find us so fast? A stunningly attractive woman with a disgustingly distorted face emerged from the shadows and spoke with an expression that was a mixture of mockery and anger. Bitch Clementine, why did you leave the black inscription? Your brother misses you. What? My brother? How do you know all this? Now I've got her attention. Let's have a private conversation and I'll give you some clues. What, is this a date? I didn't expect you to be so fast. I haven't even seen your face under your helmet. Or did you fall in love with me at first sight? What a pity. Ha 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 ha. Let's see if you can humiliate me at the end by laughing so obnoxiously. We moved towards the area where we were going to fight. Tell me, were those your friends in that warehouse? Too bad I couldn't torture them all. Oops. The wizard's screams were amazing. He begged for help until the last moment. Ha ha ha. Hey, shouldn't you be pissed off right now? You're so boring. If you think you can piss me off with that, you're shallow. No wonder you lag behind your brother Quies Hazy Aquintia. Those adventurers were nothing but stepping stones for me and a lowly worm like you. Didn't realize that. I really thought you were high up, but you are nothing more than a worm crawling in your brother's shadow. What a shame. That's why I'm going to play with you. I hope you're fun. Huh. You think you can play with Clementine Sama, who has reached the level of a hero? You really drive me crazy. What happened? Just a moment ago you were mocking me by using the dead adventurers, now you're no longer the same. You really are no different from Hero Worm. For a 30-level person to boast like that. It's unforgivable. If you kneel before me and destroy your Tao heart, maybe I'll forgive you. No, that line didn't work this world. What are you babbling about, man? By the way, there's no way that sorceress with you could beat Kajiat, though she couldn't beat me either. Now I understand why in anime and manga they talk so much during fights. Why is that? Did 6 stupid gods write that law? Nape can easily defeat worms like you. Well, come on, Worm Sama. I mean, attack me, Clementine Sama. I give you the first blow for vermin like you. You're really driving me crazy. I'm gonna shut your stinking mouth for life. Clementine ducked and took a position like a runner and strengthened her martial arts. Suddenly she rushed at me with stilettos in her hands. I attacked with my sword to counterattack, but Clementine stopped my sword with fortress art and tried to stab the other stiletto in my eye. I let go of the sword in my other hand and crossed my fingers to form a sword. I spread my ki across my hand and hit the stiletto with extreme speed, deflecting her attack and redirecting it to my helmet. Clementine retreated back into position and attacked again, strengthening herself. This cycle continued for minutes, each time pretending that I was narrowly escaping, giving Clementine the feeling that victory was imminent and observing her martial arts. I stabbed my swords into the ground and spread my hands wide. I think this has gone too far. Come to your daddy with everything you've got. Clementine bent down with a TCH, and charged at me even faster than before, but kneel. Halfway through the command spell, it stuck to the ground and its head went into the soil. Yar. I think you finally understand your place as a worm. That's good, there is hope for improvement in you. I approached her slowly, her eyes wide with fear at her inability to move. Don't come near. If you take even one step. I lifted my foot and brought it down on her left-hand fingers. Crack. Ah. A worm has no joints, you know that, right? I'm just helping you, turning you into a pure worm. Crack. Ah. Ah, come on, you were praising yourself so much just now. Clementine Sama shouldn't be so shy. At least you can thank me, I'll save you from your wrists. I patiently raised my leg above her left wrist and looked at Clementine's expression. Her eyes were shaking with shock and she wanted to kill me with her gaze. Crack. You. Crack. You. Crack. You. I made fun of her for minutes until I broke all the joints in her arms and legs. Meanwhile, Nabe came back dressed in Pleiades' maid dress and carrying the dead wizard's belongings. I took care of everything, Ashfall-sama. How about you? Her eyes shifted to the unconscious Clementine's body on the floor and she asked me with a curious expression. I was giving her a lecture on how to be a worm like her, but she fainted without even thanking me. TCH. What a rude worm. Nabe looked at Clementine with an expression as if she was indeed looking at a worthless worm. I'm going downstairs, you carry her body out. In the center of the circle carved into the ground below, Enfira was standing with bloodshot eyes, as if he had no soul. I approached him and searched for the crown on his head with the Identify Magical Item spell. I can't recreate the crown so I won't break it. I need that crown. The ability to cast 7-tier spells makes it unique. I cast Modernize Magical Item and removed the mind-breaking ability of the crown. Enfira lost his balance and collapsed on top of me. I copied Enfira's talent with the Dominate talent spell. I healed him and carried him outside. At this moment the orb of death I got from Kajiat started to glow. Great King of Death, if you allow me, I would like to pledge my loyalty to someone as powerful as you. Please honor my humble existence with my service to you. Orb of Death is an item with its own consciousness and has a personality close to the worship of death, so it will never betray me. I accept your loyalty and I have no doubt that you will serve me worthily. I am sure you will meet my expectations. I raised the orb and used negative energy absorption to absorb the negative energy from the entire cemetery and store it in the orb. The energy of all the skeletons in the cemetery was absorbed and disintegrated, and the danger in the city was removed. I put Crown of Wisdom and Orb of Death in my inventory and waited until the officials of the Adventurers Guild arrived on the scene. After investigation and interrogation, everything was sorted out and our team's new reputation as Mithril-ranked adventurers was heard in the city. I brought Enfira to his grandmother, wounded. When the old woman saw Enfira in my arms, she came running to me. Is Felix San Enfira okay? How is he? He's alive and well, but his eyes will go blind if we don't intervene now. But don't worry, I have a potion for that. I took a red potion out of my bag and poured it into the boy's eyes. Red. The perfect healing potion. Where did you get this? My friend gave this to me, though I only had 5 left. By the way, can you make such a potion? Anyway, for now I will help you move to Carne Village. Thanks for everything. I'm grateful to you for bringing Enfira back safely. No need to be grateful, we're already balanced by taking everything. After all the documentation in Adventurer Guild, I returned to Nazuric and called Narberl Gamma, Shaltir, Nekomi to the throne room. Narberl Gamma came into the room with Hamsuk and they knelt down and bowed. Behind them the servants brought the loot from the necromancers and the unconscious body of Clementine. Ashfall-sama, I have accomplished the special task you gave me and brought the item you requested. Nekomi knelt before me with the world item Downfall of Castle and Country and the corpse of the dead Kairi. Ashfall-sama, I have brought you a lot of test subjects. Shaltir knelt before me as if in triumph. Then the servants brought the half-dead bodies of the members of the Black Scripture, the Thousand Leagues astrologer was not among them, and the items from the 6 gods. Shaltir had played with them a lot, and it showed on their bodies, which were white as if they had been drained of blood. Well done, Shaltir, Nekomi, Narberl, you did a great job, thank you all. Not only did we win a world item, but we destroyed the most elite unit of a powerful kingdom without revealing ourselves. Question them all, but don't kill them, I need them. We are not worthy of your praise, Ashfall-sama. We will send them all to Neuronist Painkill for interrogation. After giving the necessary orders, I teleported to my room. I've finally dealt the blow I wanted to the Black Scripture, as planned, and the extra chair will probably be assigned to the case very soon. I took off all my uncomfortable clothes and put on a luxurious robe. Narberl Gamma, come to my room. You command Ashfall-sama. Knock. 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 Ashfall-sama, you called for me. She waited in the doorway until I opened the door. Let's not keep the lady waiting so long. Patiently I opened the door and invited her in. Do you want anything, Ashfall-sama? With dignity and honor, she lifted the skirt of her armored maid's uniform a little and bowed in greeting. I approached her and lifted her chin so that she could look at me, caressing her face lovingly with my hands. Of course I have a request, Narbarrel Gamma, you have served me with insurmountable loyalty throughout our adventurous mission. Her face flushed and began to melt in my hands. I pulled her face closer and I kissed her forehead kindly. Ashfall-sama, my duty as Pleiades is to serve you, she spoke in an unsubstantiated attempt to still maintain her seriousness. Suddenly I pushed her against the wall and brought both her hands together above her head and pinned her to the wall with one hand. I pressed my other hand under her stomach and whispered softly in her ear. So I want to give you a special gift. Her face turned red like a tomato and her eyes, which she had been avoiding me, opened wide in shock. But the expression on her face was full of expectation. I stole her soft and sweet lips and started tasting them to the fullest. As if by magic, I undid the straps of her dress and slid it down. Ashif. Slew up. Chew up. Chew up. Slew up heart. Ha. Ha Ashfall-sama. Ha. Chew up heart suit. Ashfall-sama mat. Chew up. Slew up. Ha heart suit. After a long love-making session with Narbarrel Gamma, I came to the meeting room and ordered the servants to place the half-dead Clementine, Orb of Death, and the storage orb in front of me. I cast the fusion spell and all the blood, cells and mana from the storage sphere flowed into Clementine's body. The Orb of Death fused with her head, taking over the function of the brain and all the negative energy mutated her body. Wings grew from her back like those of a skeletal dragon, black veins covered her face and a pair of horns grew from her head. Finally, I put the crown of wisdom on her head and examined it like a sculptor examining a work of art. Orb of Death, I give you a chance to serve me, from this day on your name is Jaldabath. I am grateful to you, great King of Death, for giving me this chance, and I will not let you down. I checked the status information. Race Half-Knight Lich Demonic Human LVL, 60. That's how I ended up with a cannon fodder war machine with excellent melee combat and 7 levels of magic. Demerge, Albedo, Cocytus, I give you the mission to take over the Eight Fingers organization and the village of the lizard men, and have Pandora's actor act as me. I opened the bag of money on my desk and divided it in 2 places. Demerge, half of this money is for the second Nazuric and the other half is mine. You will join Sebastian and run the missions from there and I give you permission to use their funds as you wish. This way you will lead them and you will be close to the Eight Fingers organization. I also set aside the money we will earn by selling the items we get from the graveyard and the money left here as a reserve fund. Flora, come on, let's go Carne Village, then we'll go into the forest to see the other 2 kings of the forest. Date with Ashfall-sama, I am getting ready now. Instantly, the aura of death erupted from the other floor guards and they looked at Flora with jealousy. We finished our preparations and teleported to Carne Village. Look at comment. Come on, share beautiful pictures of Narbarrel Gamma. 8 comments 0 vote. NPC Harayu. Japanese. Fei Long, meaning, flying dragon. I named it after a Japanese aircraft carrier that took part in the Second World War. Title. Amethyst Queen of Dragons. Level. 100. Health. 100 plus 50. Mana. 100 plus 50. Magat. 100 plus 30. Physat. 100 plus 30. Magdef. 100 plus 30. Phyzdef. 100 plus 30. Agility. 100 plus 70. Resist. 100. Special. 100. After transforming all stats plus 300. Racial levels. Dragonling. 10. Young. 10. Adult. 10. Elder 5. Ancient Queen of Thunder Dragon. 5. Total 40. Job levels. World Enemy Clone. 5. Primitive Caster 10. Overt Dragon 10. Elemental Master Lightning 5. Dragon Adept 10. Key Master Elemental Lightning 10. Dragon Lightning Lord 5. Dragon Slayer 5. Background story. After her undisputed defeat in the battle with Ashfall on the last floor of the 7 Tombs of Chaos dungeon, Harayu resigned herself to her fate. But Ashfall did not kill her. He dominated her and made her his war bride. Harayu, who had never been defeated, was brutally defeated in her own home by another overpowered dragon, and her Stockholm syndrome against Ashfall awakened all her feminine instincts. Because of her dragon pride, Stockholm syndrome and her eternal love for Ashfall, she will never betray him. Ashfall supported her and did his best to make her a truly Earth enemy level force. As a result, Harayu's power has increased to almost half that of the world enemy. With this power, she can fight at least 200 level players alone. This makes her the most powerful NPC in Nazik. Of course, this title is disputed by Pandora's actor, when copied Ashfall. She currently lives on the 6th floor. Type: Divine Class Scythe, Queen Anna's Revenge. Stat buffs: Mag at +30. Phys at +30. Deals 30% more damage to dragons. Special abilities: Kraken. Emerging from a dimension that opens in a large area, the Kraken's arms will drag your enemies into the void. Cost: 30 megapixels. Oka. Sacrifice 5 HP to the scythe for a long-range circular slash attack. Attacks are charged with negative energy and cause bleeding. Breath of Hades collects the soul of every creature killed. Look at comment. 9 comments 0 vote. R18 Flora, new king of forest. Flora and I exited the teleportation gate and made our way to the center of the village. Lupus Regina Beta was the first to greet us. You have brought us happiness with your arrival, Ashfall Sama, Flora Sama, welcome. Welcome, Lupus Regina Beta, I hope all is well. The people of the village, who had heard of our arrival, began to gather around us in joy. I am glad to see you in good health, Sorcerer Ashfall San, we would like to welcome you to our village. The village headman and Enri stepped forward and greeted us in the village name. Is there a reason for your arrival, Sir Ashfall? If you have a request, we would be happy to help you. The village chief spoke from the heart, reminiscing about the past. We are grateful to you for saving us on that dark day. If you hadn't come that day, we would be in a completely different situation. Enri folded her hands across her chest in gratitude. Enfira, who was behind Enri, was watching this with jealousy and felt that he had lost the competition for Enri. Look at you, this brat's eyes full of jealousy. I would have left you for dead long ago if you weren't needed for potion making. You, who are too spineless to confess your love to the girl you love, dare to look at me with those disgusting eyes. I have noticed an increase in monster activity around here, which of course could be a problem for this village in the future. My goal is to ensure the safety of this place. After all, no mindless monster can touch the village I protect. The villagers panicked at the news, but breathed a sigh of relief after my words of reassurance. Lupus Regina Beta, come with me. I have something I want to talk to you about. Yes, Ashfall Sama. Lupus Regina and I walked slowly to the edge of the village. I put my hand on her hat and stroked her head. Lupus Regina, do you know why I care about this village? Because this is your testing ground. She replied excitedly, rubbing her head against my hand. That is certainly a correct answer, well done. But not a complete answer. The potions in this world are blue in color and much weaker than the red health potions in Nazuric. My goal is to get the boy Enfira to make red health potions. But why don't we force him to do that by imprisoning him in Nazuric? Lupus Regina asked, putting her hand on her chin thoughtfully. That boy is in love with Enri, and my goal is to imprison Enfira in love chains in this village. That way he can work with the chief to make potions. Oh, as expected from Ashfall Sama, it's really a great idea. Lupus Regina energetically patted my pride. I pulled her to me and kissed her forehead. She responded to my sudden action with a hic sound. I stroked her beautiful humped hair and patiently continued. My beautiful Lupus Regina Beta, so you must protect Enri, Nemu, Enfira and Lizzie. Understood, sir. I will do my best. Lupus Regina blushed, put her hand over her heart and reported enthusiastically. I pulled the horn of the Goblin General item from my inventory. As soon as I blew the whistle, 20 goblins came and faithfully obeyed me. We are at Lord Ashfall's disposal. Do you have any requests? The goblin proudly announced, exuding the air of a leader. First of all, greetings to all of you. My order to you is to protect this village. Build a wall around the village, stock up on supplies and help the villagers. The villagers are all kind people, so you will have no problems with lodging. I understand, sir, we will definitely do the mission. You have obtained the Sergeant LVL1 job class. We agreed on the orders and then we went back to the village and I introduced the goblins to the villagers in turn. These goblins will stay in this village and help you, and I have a plan to build a wall around the village. I will send golems to help you, that way the construction will be done quickly. The villagers looked at the goblins with suspicion at first, but after Henry broke the ice, they quickly bonded. My plan for the wall pleased everyone and increased their sense of security. I am grateful to you for everything, Ashfall-san, mainly for saving the girl I love. But I really can't win against you, Enfire said slowly, his eyes darting back and forth between me and Henry. Thank you for your kind words. But remember, you spineless amoeba, I have no feelings for that girl who is not even worthy of the sweet maids in my house. So if you can give yourself some courage, which seems to be very difficult for you, then surely you have a chance. I glared at him like I was looking at an insect. Enfire froze at my words, not knowing whether to be happy or cry. Flora and I headed deeper into the forest. After all, that was our main purpose in coming here. We took our time and enjoyed the view of the forest, as if we were in a park. Ashfall-sama, why did you come with me? You could have easily handled this yourself. I knew she liked it, even though she asked her question with suspicion. You are the mother of the forest, so you can easily find the monsters I'm looking for, and I wanted to go for a walk with you. I pulled her to me and put my arm around her waist and continued walking through the woods. Flora, who had turned red, was smiling and clearly in a good mood. Ashfall-sama, I think we have come to the place we are looking for. There are monsters in that cave and 2 of them are stronger than the others. She pointed to the cave with her index finger in a serious manner. As soon as we entered the cave, a disgusting smell invaded our noses. Ow! This smell is unbearably disgusting, Flora complained with a grimace. When we went a little further, we came across a horde of trolls, accompanied by a large troll of around level 30 and a naga. I immediately pointed my index finger at the giant troll and destroyed its head with the dragon lightning spell. Before the others had a chance, I knocked the naga unconscious and took it on my back. The giant troll quickly regenerated its head and pulled its sword from its waist. What little creature dares to attack King of the East Goo? I am Ashfall Nightshade. I take this naga and I will be in nearby Karne village if you want to find me. I hope a brave king like you will not run away cowardly. Well, we have provoked Goo, he will surely attack the village soon. Now it's time to go back to the village. Flora, summon a beast to carry the naga, we will take it and return to the village. Flora was surprised by all that I was doing, but she threw the seed from her palm on the ground to create a tree monster and we headed towards the village, taking the naga with us. Sir, why didn't you kill them, and why are we returning to the village? While I don't mind the death of the village wolves, I am ambivalent about the destruction of the village you have worked so hard to protect by those disgusting trolls. I plan to conduct an experiment and if I save the villagers from this troll attack, they will owe me a second time. So I will bind them to me with a chain of gratitude, and if the experiment is successful, I will be able to improve the Nazuric army a little more. Flora knew nothing about my experiment, but she nodded with undoubted conviction and expressed her support. By the time we returned to the village, part of the wall had been completed, and it would probably be finished before the attack came tomorrow. We gathered the men of the village who could fight, 30 in all, including the goblins. Ashfall-san, why did you gather us here? Is there going to be a war? And can I find out who this naga is? Henry looked at me and the unconscious naga with concern. He is one of the 3 kings of the forest, we brought him here after knocking him out in a sudden raid. But the other king was not there, so the sudden disappearance of the other kings will make him more aggressive against threats. He'll probably attack the village. Of course I won't tell the villagers that I provoked Goo, the king of the trolls, to attack here. Flora woke the unconscious naga by pouring cold water on his head. What? Where am I? Who are you? Naga crawled back in his old age. I am Ashfall Nightshade, your new master. My eyes became slits like in dragons, part of my aura was directed at the naga. Hike. I am Ryrarius Spenia I Indarun, ready to serve my master, awaiting your orders. My aura made him realize that I was much stronger than him and the naga immediately knelt trembling. Well. I will call you Indarun, your name is a bit too long. Tell us what you know about Giant of the East. We spent the whole night preparing for battle, preparing the defense plan, and in the morning the construction of the wall was completed. With the sun directly overhead, the attack we had been waiting for began. A horde of monsters came pouring out of the forest, and at the forefront was a horde of trolls, led by Gu, heading towards the village gate. According to the plan, battle orders were given, the archers took up battle positions, a second protection was built behind the wall with fences. The monsters almost surrounded the village from all sides. That's when I whistled Horn of the Goblin General, and a large army of 5,000 goblins came to our support, including wolf riders, mages, archers, armored infantry. This concluded the experiment. But I won't use the new goblin army here, after all, the casualties would be less if only the generals fought. I teleported right in front of Gu and pointed the mace-shaped guild weapon at the troll. Insect of the East, you really came, I've been waiting for you. Let's settle this battle with a duel, winner takes all. If you win you own the forest, the village, the monsters, but if I win everything is mine. And do you have the courage to take this gamble? Gu is no coward, I am the bravest king, I accept. All the monsters lined up in a circular formation, creating an arena. Gu pulled the sword from his waist and ran at me with lumbering but big steps. As soon as I was in range of his sword, he launched his attack, swinging his sword repeatedly, but no blow could penetrate the automatic defense system. He thought it was the weapon, so he struck with his fists, but in vain. Bewildered, he scratched his bald head and tried to find a solution, but his brain, which was only muscle, could offer no solution. Now it's my turn, remember the moment I defeat you all the forest and monsters will be mine. Gu immediately took up a defensive position with his sword and prepared for my blows. I raised the mace and appeared next to the troll fast enough to disappear from sight in an instant. First I shattered his right arm and leg and Gu lost his balance and fell to the ground. Then I smashed his left arm and leg, using a lava attack on the shattered parts to prevent them from healing. His limbs, burnt to the core, stopped healing and caused him immense pain. Gu froze in shock, both in pain and surprise. To prevent him from moving, I made chains of lava to trap his torso. Now I have won, so everything is mine. I pressed down on the monsters with all my aura, and they were crushed and kneeled before me. Gu surrenders and admits he has won. You are strong, now I will serve you. Indarun, Gu, all of you go back to the forest, but never leave the forest and do not destroy the great building I built in the forest, do you understand? We understand, new king of the forest, your orders are done. The wise Indarun spoke on behalf of Gu the Birdmaster and immediately retreated back into the forest with all the monsters. All the villagers gathered around us and expressed their gratitude and thanks. Lord Ashfall, we owe you for the second time, please spend the night here, we are planning a feast in your honor, at least this way we can show our gratitude by hosting you. The village chief reported with joy. I teleported the goblin army to Nazuric and after giving the necessary orders I returned to the village with Flora. Ashfall Sama, congratulations on your victory, thanks to your brilliant plan you have taken control of the forest, tied the villagers to you and prevented any danger to the second Nazuric from the forest. I had no idea that item could summon such a powerful goblin army. Flora put her arm around me and congratulated me affectionately. Pulling her to me, I filled my lungs with the scent of her hair and kissed her forehead. Horn of the Goblin General, if this item's requirements are met, its hidden power will be revealed. Requirements are: an enemy army of greater numbers, the summoner's stronghold under siege, a level up in the commander class, and/or a previously summoned goblin troop. Flora memorized what I said and nodded solemnly in agreement. The tables were arranged in a row and a huge table was set in the center of the village, and the villagers filled it with whatever they could cook. Meals made from meat from animals hunted by the goblins, served with the crops of the village, flavored the food and improved the smell of the meat. But it still didn't reach the level of the food served by the sweet maids in Nazuric. They sat me and Flora at the top of the table and served the best wines. Flora, let's have a drink, I want to get drunk tonight. But Ashfall Sama, alcohol is considered a poison, so we can't get drunk because of our poison resistance. Although Flora liked the idea of drinking with me, she was upset that she couldn't get drunk with me. I stroked her green hair that smelled of forest with my hand and lifted the glass of wine, casting the remove poison resistance spell on both of us. Flora, nothing is impossible to the person who backs desire with enduring faith. Cheers. We clinked glasses and enjoyed our drinks. The festivities continued until midnight, when we finally returned to Nazuric drunk. plus and times. I carried Flora to her room like a princess and laid her on her bed. She wrapped her hands around my neck and pulled me to her, connecting our lips. Chew up. Slew up. Moo a kiss mark heart suit. We parted our lips. Influencing the kingdom. Battle against Jalabado. When I opened my eyes, it was morning and Flora was asleep, holding me tightly. The smell of sweat and our love juices filled the room. I combed the shiny hair that fell over Flora's face and kissed her forehead. Flora, get up, let's take a shower, I shook her gently. Ashfall Sama child takes his first step. Flora was delirious with joy, half asleep. I think she wanted to have a child so much that she slept all night thinking about him, so she dreamt about him. This girl is absolutely sweet. I began to caress her lovingly. Let's go take a bath together and fulfill the dream you had in the shower. WHHH. What, so we are in the shower? Flora blushed and wanted to confirm what I was saying, rubbing her thighs together, averting her eyes from me. Of course it's what you think. I picked her up abruptly and headed for the shower, carrying her like a princess. Kya. Ashfall Sama wait. So for many more hours we made lovemaking in the shower and lovingly washed each other. When I left the bedroom I immediately went to the throne room and summoned all the guards and Pleiades. At my call they quickly assembled, Demerge on my right and Albedo on my left, and our meeting began. The reason I have called you all here today is to officially launch our operation for world conquest. All the beauty of this world must be mine, but first I would like to hear your ideas. There was an "oh" from everyone in the room. I had no idea that Ashfall Sama was such a great aim, as one would expect from someone as great as you. Shaltir folded her hands across her chest and blushed, offering me compliments from her heart. Ashfall Sama, if you want the world, just sit back and we will do everything for you. Albedo solemnly flapped her wings. Albedo, I have full confidence in you, but the value of a thing increases with the effort you put into it, and taking over the world just by sitting back is no fun. So think of it as a team game, a world domination built on the successes of each person, and the delicious taste of victory at the end will be magnificent. I see, sir, so that's what all your preparations were for. Demerge replied thoughtfully, adjusting his glasses. Ha. Demerge, as I expected from you. You probably already have a plan for this, now tell me what's on your mind. Ashfall Sama, we can attack the city of Yggdrasil first. After all, we captured the Eight Fingers organization, so we own almost half of the Re-Esti's kingdom. We can easily take the city from them and establish our own country. Demerge advised me to draw a path like in the original. It is actually a very effective way, but it has its flaws. 1. Establishing a new country means a new constitution, new laws, and these will take a lot of time. 2. Other countries could form coalitions against us. Although we can easily crush them all, but these wars will put the citizens of the countries we will establish in a difficult situation. So here's my suggestion. Let's take a high position in the kingdom of Re-Estis and rule the kingdom in secret. If necessary, we can kill the wise old king and put the foolish first prince on the throne, manipulate him easily and rule the kingdom in his name. It would save us a lot of administrative hassle to take over what is already there. Ashfall Sama, how do we get a high position in the Re-Estis kingdom? Albedo put her hand to her chin and thought deeply. Gazefstranov invited me to the kingdom when I saved Karne village, so this is our opportunity. Demerge, you use the Eight Fingers to start a rebellion, and get most of the nobles involved. Orb of Death, Jalabado, will attack the city with some demons. I as Felix the adventurer will fight Jalabado, Pandora's actor in my guise will help the kingdom and put down the rebellion. So in the end, because of my help to the kingdom, they might give me the position of archmage like Fluter. Then we take over the nobles by binding or killing them through the Game of Thrones. Nekomi, I have an important mission for you, kill the princess of the kingdom in time of war and make it look like the work of a demon. Then let's start the plan. As your wish, Ashfall Sama, all reported at the same time. A few hours later I went with Nabe to the capital and watched everything with the magic mirror while waiting for the time to come. But first of all there was business to take care of. With Demerge and Cocytus we went to Sebastian in the capital. Solution greeted us and duly welcomed us inside. Get Sebas to come here and bring the whore with him, I announced after we went into the main hall. A few minutes later Sebas and his blonde girl arrived, bowed and walked in. They froze as soon as they entered because Ashfall Nightshade, the king of Nazarick, was sitting with one leg crossed over the other, like a god, and a pair of piercing eyes scrutinizing them to their very souls. Sebas, you know why I called you here, do you need me to explain? No sir, I understand everything, don't tire yourself over something like that. Demerge, tell me everything again, so that he will reconsider his mistakes. Yes, Ashfall-sama. First of all, Sebas, you were supposed to keep a low profile, but you brought in human trash from an 8 Fingers brothel, and if I hadn't intervened, you would have wasted a lot of Ashfall-sama's funds for the mission. You also wasted valuable healing scrolls on the girl. And when Staffan Hyvish accused you of slave trading, you would have been fooled if it wasn't for me. And also. That's enough, I appreciate your explanations and your protection of Sebas, Demerge. Now Sebas, I'm listening to you. I apologize for all the trouble I caused, sir, and I will do my best to make sure it never happens again. Sebas bowed deeply and sincerely apologized, clearly understanding his mistakes, but I was still not satisfied. I didn't consider it a rebellion against my authority, but I was still angry. Sebas, I accept your apology, the main thing is that next time you take a more careful step and learn from your mistakes. But now you must face the consequences of your mistakes, so kill this girl who was the root cause of your mistake. Sebas' eyes widened, his gaze flickering between me and Tuer. But Tuer encouraged Sebas, as if resigned to her fate. Finally Sebas took a deep breath and struck a powerful blow with his powerful fist, but unexpectedly his attack was stopped by Cocytus. I am sure that this attack will kill that girl, so for now you face the consequences of your mistake. From this day on, that girl is your responsibility, so her actions will be written in your name. I allow her to work as a servant in the Nazarick. I informed Sebas. I am grateful to you, sir, for your forgiving decision. Tuer and Sebas bowed and expressed their gratitude. By the way, do you have any relatives? Sebas asked Tuer. Actually, I have a sister, but I prefer not to remember those old days, Tuer said wistfully and sadly. I stood up and walked over to Tuer and handed her the bag that belonged to Ninya. I went on a mission with Ninya once, but unfortunately Ninya was killed in the mage incident in the city of Erantel. This is her stuff, she always wanted to find her sister, anyway you can go now. Sebas and a tearful Tuer bowed and left the room. Ashfall-sama, I don't doubt your decision, but wasn't killing the girl a better solution for Nazarick? Demerge asked the great question. You are absolutely right, but there are 2 reasons for my decision. 1. Consider it a reward, a test and a punishment for Sebas. I gave Sebas a carrot and a stick at the same time. 2. That girl won't come out of Nazarick, so there is no possibility of any information leakage. I understand, I will always remember your wise decision. Demerge adjusted his glasses with his index finger. Once that was settled, Nabe and I went to the forest near Hilma's mansion and waited until the main events began. When the battle started I waited a little away from Hilma's mansion. Jalabado, Orb of Death, and a few demons were waiting at the entrance to the mansion, as per my orders. At this moment, 3 women from the Blue Rose team appeared. Seeing Tia, Lucius, Evely coming, Intoma immediately got on a huge fly and retreated. The great battle between the Blue Rose and the demons began. Evely launched a coordinated attack with Lucius, crystal bullets rained down on Jalabado along with flying swords, but Jalabado protected himself by using the Wall of Health spell with his 7th-level spell casting ability. His counterattack with Chain Dragon Lightning pierced Evely's crystal wall spell and dealt serious damage to the lowly vampire. Lucius attacked Evely to buy time and her black sword collided with Jalabado's stilettos. But the 2-fold level difference between them immediately affected the outcome of the battle. The stiletto pierced Lacu's shoulder and released the lightning spell, shocking the girl. Tia, who fought the minions, was also wounded and defeated by the numbers disadvantage. Now it's time for the hero to emerge. I involuntarily contorted my face and with a devilish smile I put on my helmet and soared up with flight magic and landed with a thud right in the middle of the battle. The ground beneath my feet cracked like a spider web from my fall. I pointed my sword at Jalabado and asked, "Who are you and what is your purpose?" "I am the Demon General Jalabado. Our goal is to retrieve an important item that we have identified as being in this city." This item is an important historical relic for the demon race. By the way, may I know your name? He bowed slightly and greeted me. I am Felix the Adventurer, I am the one who will bury you tonight. Our mock battle began with my attack, he answered my swords with stilettos and claws. Throughout the battle I observed the fallen Blue Rose members. Evely had her hand over her heart, and with the vision in my helmet I could see her reddened face behind her mask. I used some martial arts to make his attacks more effective and convincing. I managed to push the enemy back a bit with ability boost, Gale acceleration, greater ability boost, and landed the final blow with 20-fold slash of light. Jalabado stopped most of my attack, but I managed to land 6 blows, 4 to his arm, 1 to his horn and 1 to his wing. Felix, I must say that I underestimated you. Anyway, enough of playing with you. Obviously you have earned my respect, so I'm giving you a warning. I'm about to sell off most of the city with a wall of fire, and believe me, everyone who enters will die. Jalabado rose into the air, pointed his hand at the girls behind him and created a lot of earthen spikes, threw them and flew away. I immediately heroically got in front of the girls and pulled them to me, taking all the damage. Are you all okay? I asked knowingly. Thanks to Felix-sama, we're all fine, you saved us just in time. Evely reported with an expression of worship. I'm glad you're okay. I am grateful to you for putting yourself in danger to protect us, but please think about your own health. Laetius spoke as a nobleman should, but her flushed face and the love in her eyes gave her away. And that's why the prince in red armor got the lolicon vampire and the blonde chick. But it will be a big problem if he goes to the city, we have to follow him, Evely announced excitedly. No, first we must heal your wounds so that next time we can attack him together. Ah, Felix-sama is thinking of our well-being. They both covered their flushed faces with their hands and murmured softly. We rejuvenated ourselves with healing potions and magic, but our attention was drawn to the great pillar of fire covering the capital. What's that? I've never seen anything like that. Evely, despite her age of several hundred years, was seeing this for the first time and was therefore surprised. It looks like flames of Gehenna. We immediately made our way to the center of the capital. We went to the princess's planning room with the soldiers who welcomed us. The plan was set up as in the original, with the only difference being that Lachias joined us and joined the spearhead team. Together with the soldiers of the kingdom we passed through the false wall of fire and were greeted by low-level demon monsters. After slaughtering them in the coolest way possible, we came to the center, where Demerge, Pleiades and Jalabado were lined up waiting for us. Pointing my sword at Jalabado, I said, let's have our unfinished battle, and charged. Demerge and Intoma fought Narbril Gamma. Beta and Solution fought Lachias, Alpha and Delta fought Evely. Meanwhile, the king joined the battle, which boosted the morale of everyone, and Pandora's actor, disguised as Gazef and me, joined the battle. Pandora's actor's Holy Smite spell on the center of the demon army shocked everyone by destroying them. The 7th tier Dominion of Authority had used this spell and I had copied it. At the end of our minutes-long battle, we came to the center where everyone could see, and I used my final attack, the accelerated death martial art. My sword and body were covered in ki, and in an instant I was behind Jalabado and I sheathed my sword. Behind him, Jalabado was torn to pieces and his flesh slipped from his body, staining the ground red. I've always wanted to do this attack that we see in almost every anime. But the pieces of Jalabado's flesh, which everyone thought were dead, turned like black tar and coalesced to recreate his body. Of course, I hadn't killed him, I had deliberately missed the orb inside his head. I appreciate your great sword strokes, but you cannot kill me. Now, if you will excuse me, I am leaving. Jalabado, his body reunited, took to the air with wings. No. We can't let him go, Evely shouted in frustration and anger. Felix, don't know what a waste to have such a mindless woman next to a great warrior like you. What a waste. Don't forget that my demon army has the city surrounded, so without me you would all be dead just like this. Jalabado pointed his hand at the royal palace and as soon as he snapped his fingers a huge explosion destroyed most of the palace. Chaos erupted among the people, and King Rampos III, knowing that his daughter was in the palace, rode his horse towards the palace, climb riding with him. Taking advantage of the chaos, Jalabado Pleiades teleported away together. The battle was over and the day was dawning. Felix-sama, we won. Evely jumped on me with joy and hugged me tightly, but her small body was hanging from my neck. Behind her, Lycias was blushing and longing at this scene and looking away from me. She wanted to hug me too, but her noble side wouldn't let her. Nabe, on the other hand, looked cool, but there was jealousy in her eyes and a look of disgust on her face, like she was looking at an insect. So, like a true cultured man, I opened my arms wide and embraced them all with love, putting an end to this war between the girls. Sona raised her sword to the rising sun and declared victory. The explosion in the last scene was probably planned by Demerge, and I must admit it was spectacular. He covered up the princess's death by blaming it on Jalabato. 2 days have passed since the incident. Princess Renner's death shocked everyone, even before the people had healed their wounds. The king was depressed and a great wave of grief had overwhelmed him. This was entirely in my favor, as the weakened king gave me greater opportunities. The people mourned the death of the Golden Princess. Thanks to the wizard Ashfall's unstinting support for the kingdom and the marvelous maneuvering of Albedo, who came with him, he was given the title of Kingly Wizard. He was given the lands of all the fallen and betrayed nobles, and his political power surpassed most nobles. Felix Sama, why aren't you eating, or didn't you like the meal we had with Nabe and Evely? Lycias asked sadly and skeptically. The Blue Rose team and I had rented one of the special planning rooms of the Adventurers Guild, and since then I had been staying in the capital and working with the Blue Rose team. The meal was wonderful after all, prepared with the love of 3 sweet girls. Only Princess Renner's death surprised me a little too much. You're right, that moment still haunts me. The death of the princess had a big impact on the little brat Climb. Brain says he's so sad he can't hold a sword and won't leave his room. Gargarin spoke with the expression of a sad mother. By the way, Ashfall is the new wizard of the kingdom. The king has given him great privileges. I deliberately steered the conversation away. After his brilliant attack in that war, I think this is the right decision. It keeps the nobles in check and lets the Baharuth Empire know that they have leverage against Fluter. Lachius spoke proudly as if he had it all figured out. So Ashfall Sama, are you still staying in the capital? Evely asked excitedly. Of course I plan to stay here for a while, in case Jalabato shows up again. I don't think it's only because of Jalabato, you handsome rake. Gargarin grinned knowingly, the girls blushed and looked away from me. As expected of the mother of the group, you spotted me right away. I wonder if I'm one of the reasons you stayed. Gargarin took it one step further. Although your compassionate heart warms my heart, alas, no. But I heard that one of the Empire's arena guides is head over heels in love with you, I said with a grin. Evely spat her tea on the table and said, how can that be? She sobbed in surprise, as if she doubted that the person was human. You treacherous girl, just as this handsome man is in love with your flat body, he is attracted to my thick body. Gargarin said sarcastically, and Evely covered her non-existent breasts in shame. We ended our long and joyful conversation after a few hours and everyone dispersed. I teleported with Nabe to Nazuric. I'll release 3 episodes next week. 4 comments 0 vote. To be continued. Rate this book. You may also like more. I'm the Devil Fantasy. 4.2. Overlord. The Multiverse Anime and Comics. 3.8.